Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Adonis podcast. I recently went to the theater to see the new Scream 7. So, spoiler alert, if you haven't seen Scream 7, I am going to be talking about it. So, if you haven't seen it and you don't want it spoiled, I suggest you hop off now and come back after you've seen it. Scream has been one of my favorite horror movie franchises since I was young. I actually have quite a bit of Ghostface merch around my apartment. And so, with Scream 7 coming out, now I'll admit, before I even rewatched all the movies, I am getting kind of tired of them putting up the Scream movies. Because there's no more originality. Every single Scream movie, listen, the best Scream movie there ever was the original that came out in 1990 something with Stu Macher and Billy Loomis, because that is the only movie out of the entire franchise with originality. I rewatched all 6 of the Scream movies before I went to the theater to see Scream 7. So, with it all fresh in my mind, we're going to do a quick ranking of it. We have our first Scream movie, which was really a unique story of, Sydney Prescott, her mother gets killed, and she wrongly believes that it was Cotton. Weird name, by the way. Who the fuck names their kid Cotton? But she wrongfully accuses Cotton of raping and murdering her mother, which actually what happened is he had an affair with her mother, a consensual affair with her mother. But Cotton has kids of his own. Apparently, basically, because of the affair, it caused Billy Loomis's mom to leave them entirely and kind of broke his family. So you take Loomis's anger combined with his obsession for slasher films, put 2 and 2 together, he becomes Ghostface along with Stu Macher, goes on this huge murdering spree, kills a bunch of people, and there's the classic horror movie rules like don't have sex, don't say I'll be right back. Essentially creates his own horror film where Sydney Prescott is the victim. And however, he does not succeed in killing her, leading us up to Scream 2. Sydney's now in college, and now Loomis's mother is after her because she wants revenge against her son, which was pretty cool. Then in Scream 3, I forget the director's name, but there's a guy in the movie who's like this movie director, because within the Scream movies, there are the Stab movies. The Stab movies don't exist in real life. They only exist within the Scream movies. But the Stab movies are based off of the events that happen in all the Scream movies. So they're based on Sydney Prescott. So in Scream 3, it is revealed that the killer is Sydney's half-brother. We're starting to get repetitive here with the family ties. We've got Loomis's mother first, and then we have Sydney's half-brother that she didn't even know existed. So we're starting to get a little repetitive here, but it's still good. And also Ronan, that was his name, Ronan, is the only Ghostface to work entirely alone. So props for uniqueness. Then years later, Scream 4 comes out. And this is, watching all 6 of them back to back really helped me refresh just how stupid these movies can get. Because in Scream 4, we were introduced to Sydney's cousin Jill. We know Jill, or at least she knows Jill. She's off the suspect list. And then in the end, oh no, her along with some random ass film student turn out to be the Ghostface killers. Okay, we have done the family ties and the evil family members 3 fucking times now. It's getting a little repetitive. So by Scream 4, I was like, okay, every movie is exactly the same. The only movie with any originality whatsoever was the first Scream. Scream 2, 3, and 4 are basically the same, where there are movies within the movie, that being the Stab movies. And there's a killer, usually 2. In Scream 3's case, it was 1. They all wear the same fucking costume, and they all have some sort of family ties to someone from Sydney's past, whether they're blood related to Sydney or if they are related to Loomis. Scream 5 kind of rebooted that. Scream 5 and 6 are by far my favorites. However, Scream 5 could not get rid of the whole family ties. So first of all, before I forget, Scream 5 is not called Scream. We have Scream, Scream 2, Scream 3, Scream 4, Scream, Scream 6, and Scream 7. Doesn't make any fucking sense. But in Scream 5, although it is technically just called Scream, we're introduced to Sam and Tara Carpenter, who are half-sisters, Sam Carpenter being the daughter of Billy Loomis. Now, I like the uniqueness of this because it focuses on the Carpenter sisters, and it basically is a reboot. Honestly, because of the fucking name, I thought it was a reboot. I did not think. I've seen every Scream movie in theaters since Scream 5. And when I went to see Scream 5, because it is called simply Scream, and because legacy characters like Gale, Sydney, and Dewey don't show up until about halfway through the film, I genuinely thought it was a reboot. But no, it's a sequel, it's Scream 5. Stupid fucking name. It focuses on the Carpenter sisters and their friend group, and it's kind of the same premise of the first film, with people in their circle being the masked killers. They killed off Dewey, unfortunately. Now, something that I did not like about the Scream 5 movie is the fact that Amber Freeman killed Dewey Riley. You're trying to convince me that this skimpy little thing, this little hourglass figure, full-on wrestled a fucking full-grown man and won? Not to mind you, she was wearing the costume, okay? I have personally dressed up as Ghostface for 3 years in a row for Halloween. I could tell you from first-hand experience, that costume is not comfortable. It's very baggy. If you live in Florida, such as myself, it gets very hot because you're wearing a lot underneath. It's not comfortable to wear at all. The costume drags on the ground like a dress. You can hardly go to the bathroom, let alone full-on run. And in the Scream movies, they show whoever's wearing the Ghostface costume. They're running, they're fucking jumping, they're stabbing. Bro, you can't even see out of the mask. And I'm not talking about cheap costumes. I take pride in my Halloween costumes. The Ghostface costumes that I have always chosen have always been top-notch, top of the line, exact movie replica from the Scream movies themselves. So yeah, it's all acting, bro. You can't even see it out of the Ghostface costume. You can't run in a Ghostface costume. It's all fucking acting. Amber Freeman wrestling and killing Dewey Riley is extremely unrealistic. Now, if it was Richie that killed Dewey, that would have made more sense. But Amber killing Dewey, extremely, extremely unrealistic. Scream 6 only features one legacy character, which is, or technically two if you want to include Kirby from Scream 4. But the only character, funny enough, the only character that has managed to appear in all 7 Scream movies is Gale Weathers. Because even Sidney Prescott completely skipped part 6. But in Scream 6, the Carpenter sisters, along with their friends Mindy and Chad, decide to leave Woodsboro behind and move to New York. Of course, as in all these movies, drama follows them. But once again, Sidney moved out of Woodsboro and went to college, and Ghostface followed her there. And then she even went into hiding in Scream 3, and Ghostface still managed to find her. She even changed her name, and Ghostface still found her. And if you've watched Halloween or Friday the 13th, you know that in horror slasher films, the killer always finds you. You can run all you want, but you cannot hide. In Scream 6, they move to New York, and the sisters are dealing with their shit in their own separate ways. Before long, Ghostface strikes again. This time there's 3 of them, and they did this very uniquely because one of the Ghostface faked her death. The final reveal, one was very obvious, that was Ethan Landry. The other two were Sam's roommate and the cop, Detective Bailey. Turns out that they are Richie's family, Detective Bailey being Richie's father, and the other two being Richie's siblings. So we're reiterating the plot of Scream 2, where the killer's relatives are upset and want revenge. See where I'm going with this? It's very, very repetitive. Like, we've got Scream 2. Okay, so Scream 1, Sidney kills Loomis in self-defense. And in the following movie, Scream 2, Loomis's mother, Nancy Loomis, attempts to kill Sidney to revenge her son. In Scream 5, or Scream, the Carpenters kill Richie. Sam kills Richie in self-defense. And in Scream 6, the follow-up movie, Richie's family, his father and siblings, try to kill the Carpenter sisters to revenge their dead son. Bruh. Come on. Come on. This is fucking ridiculous. So Scream 7 comes out. I already knew that I wasn't gonna fucking like it, but I went anyway. I will say that I like the modern Scream movies, so quick ranking, my favorite Scream movies are Scream, Scream 5, and Scream 6. I like the original because it's the original. It's the only one with the originality. It establishes the base story. And I like Scream 5 and Scream 6 because it's kind of like a spin-off. Okay, the legacy characters, Dewey, Gale, Sidney, yeah, they're there. But they're not the premise of the plot. They're kind of just there as support characters. They're kind of there just to make cameos. So it's really a spin-off movie, if you think about it. Because it features the relatives of past characters. The legacy characters make a cameo. They're spin-off movies. And I really like the modern day take on Ghostface and Scream. So Scream 5 and Scream 6 I really like, even though they're exact reiteration of previous Scream sequels. Now in Scream 7, this is where the spoilers begin. Scream 7, the kill scenes were absolutely brutal. Something that I loved about Scream 7 is that the kills were more brutal than ever before. Ghostface burned a chick alive. He gutted another chick. Her intestines literally spilled out on the theater floor. The killings were amazing. The fight scenes were amazing. There's this one fight scene between Mark, Sidney's husband, and Ghostface. And he literally kicks this motherfucker into the street, and then Ghostface gets hit by a car being driven by Gale Weathers. That was awesome. Now, they tried to make it a little bit more original by bringing back Matthew Lillard as Stu Macher. And so they've been teasing, since Scream 5, they've been teasing because at the end of the first Scream movie, Stu Macher dies because they knock a TV on his head. However, since Scream 5, since every Ghostface but Stu has been shot directly in the head, people are starting to theorize that Stu may have actually survived and gone into hiding. Scream 7 seems that we're finally going to get the answer to that question. And Stu personally FaceTimes Sidney and Gale throughout the movie. And so it looks like, yeah, Stu is back. But then at the end of the movie, it turns out that the killers, so once again there were 3 Ghostface, but one of them died early on. It was some random mental patient. And then at the end of the movie, it turned out to be revealed Sidney's neighbor, who she barely had any interaction with whatsoever, and the guy who runs the psych ward, who has absolutely nothing to do with Sidney or her past or her family. Basically a bunch of randos who just woke up one day and decided, hey, let's become a Ghostface and target Prescott again for the millionth time. All the other movies, they had motive. They had, you killed my son, even though he tried to kill you, you killed my son. We killed your mother because she had an affair with my father and it caused disruption in my family. There was motive. Even though it's completely insane for someone to put on a mask and take a knife to solve their problems. There was some motive. It somewhat made sense, even though every killer is obviously insane. Anyone who kills someone is insane for obvious reasons. In Scream 7, there was no motive, just a bunch of randos who decided to kill just for the hell of killing, just for entertainment purposes. And Stu wasn't even there. Stu, it turns out, was an AI clone all the time that someone made using deepfakes, which doesn't make fucking sense either, because they personally brought Matthew Lillard back to play Stu Macher. So why did they bother bringing back Matthew Lillard if they could have just fucking AI'd this shit? So Stu Macher being an AI clone that wasn't real was such a huge letdown, such a disappointment. And then the killers having no motive, it being basically a reiteration of the previous 6 Scream films again. Now they're doing what basically the Duffer Brothers did in Stranger Things, where the main characters don't die. They killed off Dewey. Okay, Dewey survived 5 movies, and then he died in the 5th one. That was sad. Gail has been in all 6 movies, 7 movies. In almost every movie, she gets attacked and somehow survives. In Scream 6, she got brutally attacked and stabbed in her apartment. Scream 6 ended and had me thinking that Gail was for certain going to be dead by Scream 7. But no, she's alive. She's got some nerve damage in her hand, that's it. Are we fucking for real? Mark got fucking butchered in a plastic bag and somehow is conscious while bleeding out and alive. The only character, honestly, one of the most satisfying deaths was the death of Hannah, who was played by McKenna Grace. And I say it's satisfying because I am fucking sick and tired of seeing McKenna Grace in absolutely everything. She was at Five Nights at Freddy's 2, she was in Scream 7, she was in an Ice Nine Kills music video, she's been in the Annabelle movies, she's about to be in a Scooby-Doo movies. This bitch is in literally everything. It's gone to the point where it's like, alright, I am sick and tired of seeing your face. Oh, but she's a hot blonde. Yeah, she looks like every other hot blonde. Why is McKenna Grace in absolutely everything that Hollywood makes now? I am fucking tired of seeing her face. So she didn't have a lot of screen time. Ghostface brutally hung her from the theater ceiling and then gutted out her intestines all over the theater floor. Good. That was the most satisfying death I have ever seen on screen. Thank fucking God they fucking gutted her pathetic ass. So while Scream 7 definitely had its moments that were good, and it was overall entertaining, at the end of the day, it was such a letdown, bro. Kill off Gale Weathers already, alright? Gale Weathers, out of all the characters, she's the one character who is so selfish. You want to strangle her through the fucking screen. And for some reason, they decided to kill off Dewey, who is the most lovable character, and keep Dale, who is the biggest cunt in the entire franchise. Chad and Mindy, okay, first of all, they're both gay. Mindy is obviously gay, and she acts gay, and she's fucking annoying, and she's fucking ugly and hideous. Chad is gay, okay? He acts feminine, he does feminine things. Oh, but he's dating the gorgeous Tara Carpenter. He's gay. He hasn't come out of the closet yet, but it's very obvious he's fucking gay. This motherfucker got stabbed by Ghostface in Scream 5, first of all. And then in Scream 6, he got stabbed. He literally got attacked by 2 Ghostfaces at once. This motherfucker's still alive. Bro, Mindy got fucking stabbed on a subway in Scream 6 and stabbed again. Well, technically slashed in Scream 7. Chad also got slashed in Scream 7. These motherfuckers are still alive. Bruh. Fucking... One second. TikTok. Who reported that does not contain this content? God. Yeah, I'm not hopping on TikTok live again. This is fucking ridiculous. Okay, so for y'all who don't know what's going on, I'm talking about a movie franchise. And TikTok just restricted my account because apparently it contains bullying and harassment. I just recently started going on TikTok more and I'm done. This is ridiculous. Out of all the social media platforms I use, TikTok and Twitter censor me the most. And it is so fucking annoying because I can't say or do anything. It's fucking ridiculous. I'm gonna finish up this live and then I'm never hopping on a TikTok live stream ever again. What was I saying? Now I've lost my train of thought. Thank you, TikTok. Bullying and harassment. Bullying and harassing who? I'm talking about a movie. I'm talking about fictional movie characters. How is it even possible to bully and harass people who aren't even real? Give me a fucking break. So Chad, I don't like Mindy, I don't like Gale. Somehow these are the people throughout the franchise that get attacked the most and they survive the most as if they're superhuman all of a sudden. Bro, everyone in this franchise is human. There are no superheroes, there are no actual monsters, which brings me to another point I'd like to make. Ghostface in the Scream movie should not be even considered a horror franchise because it's really not scary. It's a guy in a mask who goes around killing people, and the entire movie you're trying to figure out who the killer is. Scream is not a horror movie. Scream is a detective movie. Scream is a crime movie. It's a detective movie. It's considered a horror movie because the killer wears a ghost mask. But if you wore any other mask, if you wore just a simple ski mask, it wouldn't be considered a horror movie. It would be considered a detective movie. They've already announced that they're going to make a Scream 8. That's really unnecessary, bro. I don't know how much longer I can put up with these Scream movies, bro. I've seen 5, 6, and 7 all in theaters. I've seen the previous 4. It is entertaining, but it is the same story over and over and over again. They're not even trying at this point. They're like, okay, take a series like Fast and Furious. Some people might say, oh, it's a little repetitive. I love Fast and Furious. Fast and Furious is so entertaining. There's so much nonstop action. And yeah, it is technically the same story over and over again, but it is so entertaining that you don't even notice. Same with the MCU, same with literally any superhero movie. If you think about it, any superhero movie is basically some bad guy has a plot to destroy the world and the superheroes have to team up and take him down. If you think about it, it's pretty repetitive. But it's done so well and it's so entertaining that you hardly notice. And you keep coming back for more. Scream does not do that. At this point, after part 4, I was like, okay, this is getting repetitive. Then Scream 5 and 6, I was like, okay, this is interesting. This is a new take. But then, Jenna Ortega and Melissa Barrera, the girls who played Tara and Sam Carpenter, didn't even make it to Scream 7. And you want to know why? Well, apparently Jenna Ortega has some casting issues. But Melissa Barrera was fired for not supporting Israel or something to do with Israel. Because of her political agenda, she was fired and they rewrote the entire script of Scream 7 and cut out Melissa Barrera entirely. Bro, this is the problem with the world right now, is everyone involves politics in absolutely everything. They're doing it in Hollywood. I currently just had to leave my job because people were seeing my political opinions online and drama was following me to work. Can we have an opinion without it affecting every single aspect of our lives? Can we have an opinion just for the sake of having an opinion? Jesus fucking Christ. The Carpenter sisters are probably my favorite characters in the entire franchise, and they introduced us this whole new roster of characters in Scream 5, only to kill off all but 4 of them, that 4 being the Carpenter sisters, and then Chad and Mindy, who are also siblings. Chad and Mindy are annoying, don't care about them. Scream 6, somehow all 4 of them survive. And then in Scream 7, only 2 members of the core 4 managed to even show up in the film. They don't even mention the Carpenter sisters, where they're at, how they're doing, nothing. They mention Dewey, they don't mention the fucking Carpenter sisters. What the flying fuck? And speaking of Hollywood, on a final note, I'd like to mention something about Billie Eilish. Billie Eilish has been saying a lot of dumb shit recently. For example, she recently chastised Elon Musk online because Elon just became the world's first trillionaire. So Billie Eilish went on this whole social media rant about how you could literally solve world hunger and you could do all these amazing things, but you are not doing it. You're a misogynist pig. Okay, Billie Eilish is a billionaire, or at the very least a millionaire. She lives in a mansion. I don't see her giving out money. I don't see her feeding the homeless, solving hunger, or any of that shit. You ever hear the saying, lead by fucking example? So lead by example, bitch. Then, during the Grammys, which quite literally no one watches, Billie Eilish gave a whole speech about ice out and fuck Trump and no ice. No one is illegal on stolen land. Okay, well that saying alone contradicts itself, because if no one is illegal on stolen land, then how is the land stolen in the first place? Great question, if you ask me. That has still not been answered by the radical left. So apparently Billie Eilish is getting evicted from her. I don't know how true this is, but I've been hearing online that some law enforcement agency, some lawyer agency, is now currently evicting her from her mansion because people have made the argument that, oh, if no one is illegal on stolen land, then why do you have gates all around your mansion? You should just let us in. So now they're literally evicting her from her own property by using her own statement against her. Once again, I don't know how true it is, but if that is true, that's hilarious. And also, a fucking bite back in her butt. But also, Billie Eilish is not a woman. Billie Eilish is a man named Bill Eilish. Because who the fuck names their daughter Billie? Billie is a boy's name, and Billy is a boy's name who eventually becomes Bill once he grows up into a man. And have you noticed? Bill Eilish looks nothing like a woman other than his massive tits. That's because Bill Eilish is not a woman. Billie Eilish is a man named Bill who changed his name to Billy and then started identifying as a woman. He got breast implants and started identifying as a woman named Billy and now goes by she, her, Billie Eilish. That's not true. I'm sorry, motherfucker. I am pro-reality over here. Billie Eilish is actually a he, him, and his name is Bill Eilish. What happened? They just banned my account. Okay, why? Harassment and bullying. I'm not harassing anybody. No, I don't agree with it. Doesn't contain the content mentioned in this notice. No. Fucking cunts. Okay. Go away. Okay, we're back. So I'm gonna share a picture of Billie Eilish right here. What feminine quality do you see on her other than her breast, or correction, his breasts? The face is manly, broad arms and shoulders. Everything about this cunt is manly. Because Bill Eilish is not a woman, which explains why Bill Eilish is so radically left. Because no straight Republican man ever changes his gender and starts identifying as a woman and starts whining about ICE and deportations and, oh, let me just randomly attack Elon Musk because he's got more money than me. Scream 7 sucked. Bill Eilish is not a woman. That's my take. This is the Adonis podcast. Fuck you.